Good afternoon. Welcome to the College Recruiter webinar for our job seekers who are looking for internships, jobs upon graduation, as well as for our job seekers and recent grads who have 0 to 3 years of experience. So before we get started, I'd like to introduce you to who College Recruiter is. We were founded in 1991 as a campus map, and employers in that area advertised their products and services to the students on that campus. Then in 1996, with the introduction of the internet, College Recruiter went online as a job board for students. Our traffic is, we have the highest traffic for a college job board. We have over 150,000 unique monthly visitors who are like you, and 10 million of those visitors are students just like you. The kind of job seekers who use our site are those that go to all 1, 2, 4-year and graduate schools here in the U.S. And we actually have over 7 million of you who are recent graduates with 0 to 3 years of experience. Now, the employers who will be looking at you and that you can connect with are clients who are mostly Fortune 500 and federal government agencies. So to tell you a little bit about myself, I am a national account manager with College Recruiter. My primary responsibilities with them is to facilitate our employer boot camps and our webinars, as well as working with small to medium-sized companies who are looking for entry-level talent. So to begin our webinar for today, I'd like to introduce you to our guest. Our guest is going to be Stephen Rothberg, who is the founder and president of College Recruiter, and he's going to tell you how you can best use College Recruiter to help you with your job search.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Why don't we start with the first question?
Sounds great. So, Stephen, who uses College Recruiter?
College Recruiter is used both by job seekers and employers. The job seekers, as you were saying in your nice intro, are primarily recent graduates and students from all 7,400 or so 1-year, 2-year, and 4-year colleges in the U.S., as well as the graduate schools. The recent grads use our site overwhelmingly to find full-time entry-level positions upon graduation. They tend to have 0 to 3 years of experience. So think first, maybe second job after graduation. The students of the 1, 2, and 4-year colleges and grad schools are typically using our site to find internships, seasonal positions, and part-time job opportunities.
Sounds great. Now, as a job seeker and as a student, is there a charge?
There is not. Our site is free to job seekers, whether they're recent grads or students. And in fact, we don't even require you to register. So the vast majority of job boards, whether they're big general boards or they're niche boards like us, where they focus on a particular type of job or particular type of candidate, maybe geographically, by years of experience, occupational field, but the vast majority of job boards out there require a candidate to register, sometimes just to see what jobs are advertised or posted on the site. Sometimes you can see the jobs which are advertised, but when you click on the job title, the site requires you to register in order to read the job description. And almost always, by the time you're actually going to the application page, whether that application page is on the job board's website or whether it sends you over to the employer's website to apply. But either way, almost always, most job boards require you to register. We do not. We never have, and I don't think we ever will. Quite frankly, we feel it's not in the best interests of the candidate, and we feel it's not in the best interests of the employer. Our role in the process is to help you, the job seeker, connect with the employer that has a job opportunity or job opening that's well suited to your competencies, your interests, and your values. Requiring you to register with us puts a speed bump or a hurdle in your way. It makes it a little bit more difficult for you to do that. Maybe you don't want to give us your email address. Maybe you don't know us all that well and you're just not sure what we're going to do with that. We are real people living in the US and running a small business, but we do not need your email address or other information in order to connect you with some great job opportunities. Now, do we ask you to register? Absolutely. The reason that we do that is because it makes it easier for you to find a great job. If you register with us, we can do a pretty good job of suggesting or matching you with other job opportunities. And as those jobs are posted to our site, we'll email you at most once a day to say, hey, this new job was posted, or these 8 new jobs, or these 13 new jobs were just posted that seem to match the kind of job that you're interested in. So we'll send those to you. You can always unsubscribe, stop getting them. So there are definitely some real benefits to registering, but we don't require it. And again, there's no fee. There are some job boards out there that do charge job seekers a fee. Very, very, very few of them are worthwhile because, quite frankly, you can get the same information on College Recruiter or other job boards for no charge. So I recommend that candidates do not pay a fee to any job board.
That's really great information to know. Thank you, Stephen. So for the job seeker, just so they know who they're going to be connecting with and who they might find on College Recruiter, what kinds of organizations are most likely to use College Recruiter to help them hire recent graduates and students of the 1, 2, and 4-year and graduate schools?
Sure. So we have thousands of organizations that are advertising their job openings with us at any given time. Some of them are very small organizations. They might have 5, 10, 20 employees. Some of them are medium-sized organizations. They might have hundreds of employees. And some of them are large, thousands, even tens or hundreds of thousands of employees. Most of the jobs that are advertised on College Recruiter come from those small and medium-sized businesses because that's where most of the jobs are available. Most of our clients that our staff spends a lot of time with are larger. They are hiring dozens, hundreds, even thousands of people, and those tend to be Fortune 1000 or federal government agencies. If you're looking for some examples of organizations which are advertising their positions with us, you can go to our homepage, and right underneath the search, you can see 4 logos. We call these featured employer tile banner ads. And you can see on the homepage that I pulled up, it's got Time Warner, Indian Health Service, KPMG, and Horizon Air. And if I reload or refresh my browser, what you're going to see are 4 new logos that are going to come up, and they just come up randomly. NAM Youth Marketing, T-Mobile, Staff Management, Accenture. If I reload again, Charity Water, GSK, Time Warner again, New England Center for Children. We have dozens of these large organizations that are hiring dozens, hundreds, or thousands of people. Another way to look for positions is by searching by the job title or keyword. You can put your major in there, the kind of occupational field you want, and then your city and state, or if you're outside of the US, province.
So now, what are some of the main features that I, as a job seeker, would use on College Recruiter?
Sure. You know, the most popular feature on just about any job board is the job search. There are definitely candidates that will come to a job board to learn more about basically how to be a better candidate. It might be help writing a resume, getting some networking tips, etc. And I'll show you some of those features in a moment. But overwhelmingly, when a candidate, whether they're a student, whether they're a recent grad, when they come to a job board like College Recruiter, what they want to do is search for job openings. So if the first thing you can do is you can just go and type in your job title. So let's say I'm a computer science major and I am living, I'm going to school in Kansas City, but I want to move to New York City. So I can type in a job title like, say, software engineer, and then I'm going to want to type in the city in which the job would be located, where I want to live, not where I go to school. So I'll select New York, and I'll hit search. And what you see then, lightning fast, are the search results that come up. And the way that our search works is that we're going to match you first with jobs that have an exact job title and an exact city. But if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to start to see jobs like this that have the same job title, but the city is not the same. So what we do is we say, okay, show all of the exact matches first, and then the close matches next. If we go to one of these ads, like software engineer with Tata Consultancy Service in New York, so they're right in Manhattan, you can see that with a fair number of our ads, there's a video right up near the top. You can play that video. You're going to be right on the job detail page, so you're not going to lose your place or go away. And that'll really help you get a much better feeling for what the organization is, what their culture is, the kind of people who work there, etc. I like to say that if a picture is worth 1,000 words, and a video is worth 1,000 pictures. So we strongly encourage our employer clients to include video within their postings. Typically then under the video, if there is a video, then you're going to always have the actual job posting ad. And this is where an employer will generally say, this is the kind of person we're looking for, the kind of work they're going to do, the qualifications, etc. And if you notice on the right-hand side, that big green Apply Now button, that follows you as you move up and down the page. So if you want to apply to the job, you click that Apply button, and then one of two things will happen. You're going to come to an application page on College Recruiter, where you enter your first name, last name, email address, and then you paste your resume into that field, and then you hit the Apply Now button. These applications we send by email behind the scenes to the employer. That employer is an example of one that wanted the candidate to apply on our site rather than going over to another site. If I look at another job, you'll see no video. If I hit the Apply button, this is one where you're going to go over to the employer's website to apply. And that's far more typical. More and more employers these days want the candidate to apply on the employer's website. That because your application is easier for them to handle. You go right into their database. It's called an applicant tracking system, and it allows them to better search for people who have applied by keywords, etc. Much like you search for the job posting, they can search your application pretty much the same way. They can also then kind of track you through the whole application process. Did they review your resume? Did they send it to a recruiter? Which recruiter got it? Have they scheduled an interview? Did they have the interview? What was the outcome of that interview? Have they extended a job offer to you? Did you accept it? Did you reject it? Etc. All the way through the application process. Another key feature, Andrea, of our site is we have these articles, blogs, and videos. We have over 30,000 pages of content on our site. Here's an article that actually I posted a little bit earlier today about what we're calling hidden gem schools. These are schools that where the qualifications of the students are high. The schools are relatively hard to get into. High SAT and ACT scores is a good measure for that. The quality of the person graduating, the education, is also high, and we can judge that based upon the average starting salary. A school that's in, say, North Dakota is not going to be judged against a school that is in New York, because starting salaries in most occupational fields in North Dakota is a lot less than what it is in New York. So we're going to compare that North Dakota school to schools that are in similar regional areas, South Dakota, Montana, etc. The schools that are in New York, we're going to compare those schools against, say, schools that are in places like, say, Philadelphia, New Jersey. And then also these schools have a lot of Students who, upon graduation, are still available. Some schools have a very high percentage of students that go to graduate school, and so they're not available to employers. That's not a great school for an employer to go to recruit. So that's an example of one kind of article. Another article here is directed at employers. We're hosting a webinar next week. And then we also have articles on individual employers where we talk about things like, you know, best places to work, etc. Another nice feature that we have on our site is the best places to work rankings. So again, if you go under advice and resources, you go under advice and resources and you select best places to work, then we have some rankings. And if you click that best places to work, it's going to take you to a blog article that talks about each of those places. And so if you're kind of struggling to figure out what kind of company to work for, that's a great place to start. And then a feature that I really like, we get a lot of requests for this, is the free resume critique. A lot of people, whether they have experience or not, want to have somebody else look at their resume. And typically job seekers will have a friend, a family member, their grandmother look at their resume. You know, and that's great if that friend or family member or grandmother is a professional in this field, if they're in HR, if they're in recruiting, if they're a resume writer. But if they're just sort of like, let's call it a normal person, they really don't have any expertise as to what makes for a good resume. Our staff does. We look at tens of thousands of resumes a month. So you can type in just your first name, your email address, you select the kind of salary that you want, and then you upload your resume, hit the critique button, and we will review your resume at no charge and come back to you with specific recommendations for how you can make it better. And we do all of that within 3 days.
That is absolutely fantastic. Now, what else should a job seeker do to help them find a great new entry-level or internship position?
You know, I think the big thing is that you need to get out from behind your computer. You need to network. And a lot of people think that networking means asking other people for help. Who do you know that I should call? And it's actually the reverse. Somebody who's good at networking is always looking to help other people. So go and volunteer. If you are an accounting major in your senior year, go and offer to do the books for a nonprofit for free to help them prepare their tax returns, to balance their checkbook, whatever. It doesn't have to be a big nonprofit. It can be like a little tiny nonprofit that has an executive director and 2 part-time staff members. Volunteer for a government agency. That might be your local school. It might be City Hall. It might be the police department. It might be the Humane Society. But go and look for volunteer experience. One of the reasons why I always recommend that, first of all, it's great to give back to your community. Another reason why volunteer experience is great is the people that you're working with. You'll very often have leaders in the community who are volunteers themselves. They're participating on committees, board of directors, etc. And they're always looking for good people for their businesses, their organizations. So they'll often point you in the right direction. And then help your classmates, help your friends, help your family. If you see an article about a business that you think might be of interest to your uncle, send that article to your uncle, and that uncle might say, you know, hey Johnny, what are you doing these days? And then you can say, well, you know, I'm graduating in a couple months and I'm looking for a sales position right now. And your uncle might say, you know what, interesting you said that. There's an office 3 doors down from ours, and I know that they're looking for a new salesperson. That's a great example of networking and the kind of thing that all people should be doing every day.
Thank you so much, Stephen. You have certainly shared great insight for our job seekers, as well as a wonderful overview of College Recruiter. So again, to our participants of this webinar, I want to thank you so much. And please visit collegerecruiter.com. That's www.collegerecruiter.com for your search for internships, finding the right job right out of school, or if you're out of school, that position that will really take advantage of your 0 to 3 years of experience. Begin your job search today by visiting us again at www.collegerecruiter.com. Thank you so much and have a great day.
And thank you too, Andrea.